Do you know the hundreds of thousands, the millions of views, the likes that I am seeing of people saying this is a universal experience for women? Everyone is relating to this right now. That's why I didn't take the money. It shouldn't be. This should not be a universal experience for women. This shouldn't be relatable. That's why I didn't take the money, because no one talks about it. This shouldn't be a thing that women go through. Stop abusing women.
I'm sure many of you are aware of what has been going on with Brianna Chickenfry. A few weeks ago, or even last week, time flies so quickly on the internet, but her and Bryan, the country singer, they had split up and she was blindsided. He basically let everyone know before she could even come to terms with what was going on, and it was blasted all over the internet, and it was just an absolute mess. And then you then had Brianna Chickenfry, who was making a YouTube video on her bathroom floor crying.
I just woke up to Zach posting on his Instagram that we broke up, and I had no idea that post was going up. He didn't text me, he didn't call me. I just woke up to a bunch of texts being like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Did my dad die?"
He was actually spotted on Riot literally a few hours after their breakup, and yeah, it wasn't looking good. Before now, we didn't really know exactly what had been going on. Went on the BFF podcast, and she was exposing a lot of things. She even says it's not everything. I could have gone a lot deeper.
So one, I see a lot of people being like, well, Dave definitely just gave her $10 million to do a tell-all, so she took money anyway. Dave didn't give me any money. Two, a tell-all? You think that was a tell-all? I took the high road. What I did was set a scene, paint a picture. And if you can't see that very clear picture, I don't have time to hold your hand and walk you to Lens Crafters, okay?
The stuff that she's been saying, it was deep enough. I feel like it is painting this real nasty image of Zach. I already had very low expectations, very low faith in him anyway, because of the way that he handled it on social media, and also the way that he was then spotted on Riot. The whole entire thing wasn't looking particularly great. And also you have to look at his kind of history of how he's then ended things with his previous wives and previous girlfriends. I don't know. I wasn't really the biggest fan anyway, so my expectations were kind of on the floor, but now they're lower than the floor. They're buried deep underground. What's then followed on from that podcast episode, even with the diss track that was kind of before it, which is hilarious, by the way. The diss track's absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, it's not here at the minute.
It'll be back on TikTok soon, if not already, and it's going to go back on Spotify and Apple tonight, midnight. Even better, re-release, second launch. We got to get this thing charting. We got to get silver records, gold records, platinum records, play this thing through the roof. Maybe even beat some of Zach's own songs, beat him at his own game.
The main point that people are really trying to put home is the fact that Bryan offered her, Brianna Chickenfry, $12 or $12.5 million and to sign an NDA.
Brianna was offered basically a payout to sign an NDA to not talk about the breakup, things that happened. $12 million is what it ended up being. And I was going back and forth with her a lot.
Me and Dave even texted and it was like we can't tell Brie not to.
I sat on the back porch of the Duxbury house that he bought for us to live in next to my family and like have a family in. And I sat on that back porch with my aunt, and we looked out at the water, and we looked at this $10 million house, and I'm like, for what? I'm gonna get all these millions and just to have a backyard to sit in and thank Zach for? It was never about the money. I was with the dude because I loved the dude. Like, everything glamorous, rich, or cool about him was the shit that I hated about him, or I hated being with him for.
If she's been offered that, I think even she has been saying this, alleging to this as well. How many other of his girlfriends have also been signing these NDAs, been signing away the fact that he's an abusive, allegedly nasty boyfriend, and signing away their story so that they then can't warn the next girlfriends about what he's actually like?
The women before me believe that they had no other choice than to take money from you, sign their experiences away, sign what they went through away. You get to go skip off and sing your little songs on stage like you're a good dude. You get to treat people around you like shit. Sorry, I'm not them. I don't want your money. I don't want in 2 years to buy a fucking house and think, oh, this is the money from the dude that literally fucking destroyed me and broke me for a year. I didn't sign the NDA. I didn't take the money because I'm not signing away my experiences and what I went through to protect someone that hurt me. And I'm a lot stronger than a weak man.
So just to try and keep it as sweet and concise as possible, because of course you can go and watch the full podcast. I will leave it linked in the description box. Main talking points, at least for me, was the fact that he was trying to get her to sign NDA and then also been offered $12+ million to basically not say anything.
They started low, then they went up to 10 million, then they went up to 12 million, then they wanted to give me a house, then they wanted to give me a New York apartment, then they wanted to do all these things.
Because the stuff that he was getting up to in that relationship, it wasn't brilliant. We had closure on, why was she blocked after the Golden Globes? Originally, we thought, or we were led to believe, that it was actually because she was interviewed and asked, who are you looking forward to seeing tonight? And she said something about a celebrity, I can't remember who, basically saying that they were hot. That wasn't actually the reasoning. The reasoning why Zach turned around and threw a temper tantrum was because of what she was wearing. Now, bear this in mind, she wasn't just blocked, but everyone else in the podcast was also blocked as well.
So I went to the Golden Globes and I posted like a carousel of pictures. He didn't like my dress. He said he didn't want to like date someone that like presents themselves that way. He unfollowed me. He unfollowed everyone. And when I flew home after the Golden Globes. He ruined my night. Anything good I did for me, he made sure to ruin it for me. He ruined my birthday. He ruined my tour. He ruined the Golden Globes. Anything Brianna did for Brianna, he had to ruin it. Golden Globes night was going so great, and I'm like sending him pictures, and he's like happy in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it turns to like, I can't believe you're wearing this, blah, 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 ruins the night. I'm crying to Grace. He unfollows me because of the dress. He tells me all the Instagram pictures that I have to delete. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess like he makes me believe that like I have to change my image to like keep up with his or something. So like I was twisted in the head. Okay, yeah, he doesn't want to be with a girl that, I don't know, has cleavage. So, but the cherry on the top of all of that was he reposted that picture of me on his story and was like, you are so beautiful.
While freaking out behind the scenes.
And unfollowing all of us and unfollowing me. Oh man, it was just such a tug of war, like with my emotions in my head. Like that was obviously crazy.
So he was basically trying to police what she was wearing. He also wouldn't let her sing any other country songs. So for instance, there's some hilarious memes going on at the minute of people wandering around humming the Morgan Wallen Last Night song, right?
Last night we let the liquor talk.
She was caught on several occasions in their home singing along, and he turned around and said, you can't sing another man's song under this roof, or something to that effect.
I'm about to like make breakfast or something. I'm like, last night we let the liquor talk. He freaked the fuck out. He could not believe you're singing another man's song under my roof in this house that I own. It was a fight for I think a week.
That's just nuts. It's no way to live. Is that anybody, or is there like specific beef or something?
That's a Morgan Wallen song.
No, I know that, but like, what's he care about? Like, is it specific to Morgan?
I think he really doesn't like Morgan Wallen. I think he really hates Morgan Wallen. I think he feels inferior to Morgan Wallen.
So now you can imagine the TikToks that are now going around of people doing exactly just that. Also have the fact that Morgan Wallen's actually been nominated for like his very first Grammy. I don't know, but I do find that quite funny. He also on several occasions would smash her phone and would go into rages. Basically, he didn't like the fact that she wanted to go and do her own things, do her own touring, and he basically just wanted her to just basically stay on the tour bus and just go around with him. But the very moment that she went, actually, I need to go and do something for myself, he then broke everything off. He couldn't handle it.
I don't think that's how any relationship should ever be. Like, of course you think about your significant other, but you shouldn't think about like, is this gonna upset them, or is this gonna like cause a fight, when it's things that shouldn't upset people.
He wanted her to be the girl that just sort of like stood around and dealt with all of this shit all the time. But then the minute that she had any autonomy and wanted to do stuff for herself that makes her feel good, he couldn't handle it. we've met people like this and they suck.
Look at my phone. It's smashed from him. He's always smashed my phone.
What, take it out of your hand and throw it on the ground?
Yeah, take it out of my hand and just whip it off a wall.
It's starting to become a little more evident why the 12 minutes.
There's a 12
to be honest,
there's signs pointing in a direction.
I think it's good that you told that story.
Everyone in my personal life knew what I was going through. Just no one in the real world does. And I never thought they would because I didn't want to ever say it. But I'm over it now. I'm not over it, but I'm out of it. So I can understand what I went through and I feel comfortable talking about it now. I'm not stuck in it anymore.
Then begs into another question with the whole entire phone thing. So he would often record her, just like randomly come into the tour bus, come into the bedroom and just start recording her when he was like obviously quite drunk. Allegedly he has an alcohol problem, and yeah, he would just keep on recording her and just trying to get her to react. And this stems from the fact that the night before her birthday, and she had a load of friends around the kind of campfire, and she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go up to bed. And allegedly what happened is that Zach, she could hear screaming and shouting. She came back down the stairs and Zach was allegedly just screaming and shouting at all of her friends and completely degrading, belittling them. One of them got their phones out and did actually record the sequence of events, but Brianna doesn't ever want that posted.
Like, I was so excited. It was gonna be my birthday at midnight. We were gonna like do the champagne or whatever. I'm like, I gotta go to bed before my birthday. Hopefully he will follow me to bed. He doesn't follow me. I go upstairs. I go to sleep and I wake up like probably an hour and a half later to like screaming. And so I go downstairs into the basement of this house, all my girlfriends crying, and they're all like in it. So I'm like, what happened? What's going on? And then I look outside and I have my aunt like trying to control Zach. There's a recording of all of this that can never be out. Basically, Zach we're all hanging around the fire, and I guess he stood up at the fire and just starts screaming at my friends, you're not going to be anything, you're a loser, like just the most horrible shit. You're never going to make it, like you live off of other people, like just crazy out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the f? Zach's in this zone. There's no containing it. My aunt's trying to figure it out, whatever. I bring him up to bed. He smashes glass. Wake up in the morning. I'm like, you have to leave, Zach. Like, you have to apologize. Like, this is crazy. They didn't squash it, obviously, but it was like, we'll be civil today so that Bree can have one day. Ever since then, it was just awful. And Zach, every night, like, I'd be trying to go to sleep on the bus and he would just come in and just start recording me and be like, is it okay if I'm recording you since your friends record me and everyone around you records me all the time? I have the craziest videos. Maybe that's why the $12 million is involved, that I'm never going to put out there because it's embarrassing for me and I don't want my future kids to see it. But that's probably where the $12 million comes from.
Interestingly enough about this, so Grace O'Malley, who's Brianna Chickenfry's best friend, who's also on another podcast that they have, she made a Instagram. She said, I wish I didn't even have to say this, but there is no world where I would ever take money from that clown to shut me up. It has been quite the year and I'm still not ready to talk about it online. I'm just happy Brie is free from that piece of shit. That's all for now. And even though I've never really been a follower of any of these podcasts, I just know about this particular event, so my lore is not great, but I know who the kind of key players are here. From my own understanding, Grace and Brie have had a bit of a difficult year anyway, with of course their friendship being called into question for things that Brie said on the podcast, and then kind of vague statements that Grace has made. So people already knew there was a bit of a rift, but now it's kind of becoming a bit more clear that that rift, as well as kind of the obvious comments that we saw, Brie do on the podcast, I think a lot of it stemmed from the fact that Zach was in the picture and her friends could see what he was doing to her.
Of nonstop travel, and it's pretty much like, hey, it's time to move out. I'm like, what? Can we like talk about this? Not even that I want to figure it out. Like, can we have a conversation about what's happening? I am like, are we on two different planets right now? Did we not just build a life together, like where I grew up? Did we not just talk about constantly every day getting married and kids? Did we not make video diaries for our children every day. I go away for 2 weeks to give myself a little bit of something, and I come home and it's pack your bags.
Also something to do with the Bronco car as well. He's now threatening to take said car away.
I'm buying my first car, like it's my big first purchase. He won't let me buy the car. He's like, I'm buying you the car. I still think he got the car for free. I don't know. Did something with Ford and he gets me the car. And I'm like, okay, he buys it for me. And it's my Bronco. I've been driving it around. I've been using it. When we broke up, when this all happened, I texted him, hey, can I please pay you for the car? From the beginning, I was like, I don't want anything from you. I don't want this house. I don't want money. I want my car. I will pay you the money for the car. He goes, no, you can keep the car. Consider it a gift. I'm like, are you sure? Have the text. Yes, I am positive. And then when I said I wasn't going to sign anything, which was yesterday when we got those texts, he said he's sending someone to come pick the car up at my mom's house. I'm like, I will pay, Zach, I will pay for the car. And he's like, I'm sending someone to come get it.
Long and the short of it is that she has had the most difficult year, and she felt that she was emotionally, and she was, emotionally abused, and she was manipulated, and she was made to feel less than by the guy who, claims that he loved her, and they would make video diaries for their future children, and then he would then turn on her. It's just so incredibly triggering and horrible to listen to, because I feel like a lot of us can resonate with being in relationships like that. She's now since come out and she's done some Instagram stories where she's just turned around and she said, this sheer volume of people who have messaged me and been in contact with me have basically turned around and have said, this is an occurrence. This happens to women. Like, men need to stop abusing women. So true. I feel like all of us have stories. Obviously not to take away from what Bree's gone through, but all of us have stories where we've been in very similar, sometimes worse, we've all been in similar situations. And it's really horrible. It's really nasty to listen to. So that's the reason why it does bring me a lot of joy that Dave and Josh, I think, came out with a diss track. I've heard it, but I can't go and watch the full clip of it over on YouTube. It's been taken down because basically it got released under Warner, and Warner Brothers is also where Bryan is underneath, and allegedly he was throwing a massive temper tantrum to get it taken down. So something to do with the fact that Josh forgot to mention the fact that he also is signed. He signed a deal with Warner a little while ago, so he can't even release it.
Josh signed a music agreement with Warner Music Group in 2020. They didn't really tell us that. I've seen the contract. It's fairly ironclad. Why they're saying they own the whole music, the whole song. I still don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean I definitely own 50% of it at least. We talked to them today, Paul, our lawyer, and they're like, yeah, it's our fucking song. So it appears I'm going to have to do Dave's version. I'm going to have to get back in the booth and just re-record the thing without Josh.
I can't play the full bit, but it's been stuck in my head for days. If anything, what it's really shown me is that, she has got people that do have her back. And I know people have a lot of differing opinions on Dave and just the crew in general. I'm fully aware of that. I'm just trying to talk about it from this instance. In the, it's really nice that she has got people that have got her back in this situation. And, she didn't take that money, and it could have been extremely easy for her to take that money. And I think that bit that she said really stood out to me, where she said, I don't want you to pay off the experience that I had with you. I'm not just going to sign my right away to not be able to say anything. And it does make you think how many other women have gone for the money just so they won't say anything and make Bryan look really bad. There must be a lot of people, but you wouldn't know because they've signed NDAs. That will take a lot of guts to not take that money, because especially now, and I know these people are wealthy. I know they're rich anyway. Compared to the average person, all right, they're very well off. Doesn't matter if you're really well off or if you're, more like the average person, more like me and you, I'm imagining. $12+ million is a hell of a lot of money, and I don't know a lot of people that wouldn't take that and go, but the reasoning why she's not is because she wants to be able to warn other women. She wants to be able to stand up. And yes, could she make a lot of money off of the back of this drama or the breakup? Yeah. But once again, I don't see anything the matter with that, especially if you've gone through real traumatic abuse at the hands of someone who says, oh, I love you. Make your money. Like, honestly, make your money.
I am losing money right now. I am paying for storage. I am paying for movers. I am paying for flights back and forth to New York to go try and find an apartment. That's besides the point.
That's pretty much everything that I think about this topic of conversation. I'm sorry if I've missed anything out. I think there's a couple bits that I did. I just want to like encourage anyone who hasn't gone to go and see it to go and actually, you know, watch the full podcast, but it's quite long. But if you have the time, definitely go and watch it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.